Hello, hello, hello. Marcy Ben from Think Premium JA in association with Island Net, a 20 plus year old telecommunications provider in Jamaica that has been serving over 1,500 businesses island wide. I'm actually here to share a quick message with you. And here are 10 possible reasons why your internet connection may not be working in your office. For one, there might be physical connection issues. Some cables might be broken, some cables might not be working properly. As a matter of fact, you need to ensure that all of the cables that are need to be connected to any devices in office are connected to a modem or a router and a computer. And even your firewall device can act as a router as well. I mean, I know the Fortinet firewalls that IslandNet has can act as routers, so that works as well. Another thing that can be causing your internet connectivity issues are router problems. Your router might be malfunctioning. It might be time to get a new router. IslandNet sells routers, so if you need help with that, we can assist you with that. And as I said before, the firewall that we offer for managed firewall service, the Fortinet FF 60F firewalls, yeah, they actually have the physical device that can be used as a modem. So yeah, a router, sorry. So you do have that. And another thing that you can do if your router is not working properly, a simple way to solve the issue, provided that there isn't a bigger problem at play, is to just like restart the router or just like reset it to factory settings. That's a simple, cost effective solution you can try. I mean, I don't know what the settings are like for your specific router, so to do like a factory reset, I mean, depending on the device, you may be able to do it on the device itself, or you may have to connect it to a physical like laptop or desktop. I know of the ones that you can connect to a desktop or laptop, so it all depends. But you might want to think of either resetting it or just restarting the device. Internet service provider issues, that's obviously a common one, because if there is an outage, then from, let's say, any of the three major internet players here in Jamaica, like Ireland is included, you would need to contact your internet provider to see what's up, to see if they're doing any maintenance or what is the reason behind the outage in your area, so they can fix it. Another thing as well is, the domain name settings might be incorrect. So if the domain name is the name that you give the, like, the network or the specific devices or cluster of devices within your network, let me make sure I'm defining that correctly. So if there is a name change, for instance, you might want to just double check that and see how your issue resolves from there. It's simple things like that that can throw things off, and a lot of people don't realize. I mean, I can understand where a lot of people don't pay attention to things like that, but the domain name would really be like the website address. Sorry, my bad. So it's a website address. So for instance, let's say I'm trying to log into Amazon.com and I spell Amazon incorrectly. Instead of Amazon, I spell Amazon or something like that. I mean, it's not gonna recognize it. I mean, if you do it in a Google search, it might ask you if you meant Amazon, but sometimes, depending on the area, it might just not recognize it. So it might just say website not able to be found. So, or it could really just be a case where you probably just need to check to see what could be causing issues. But if it's a domain network server issue, though, which is actually completely different from the network name, now with that, the name of the network or cluster of the devices, or the IP protocol resource, whatever it is that the personal computer is using to access the internet or a server computer through, if there is an issue with the name, it's looking just like if somebody's trying to call me, my name is Marcia, and they call me Abigail, I'm not going to answer, because that's not my name. If your personal computer is searching through a network looking for a server and it's calling it by the wrong name, it's just not going to get the service, because the server's just not going to recognize that device that's trying to call to them, because it's using the wrong name. Similar to the whole website example that I highlighted earlier, right? That was an example of a domain versus a domain network server name issue. So in this case, it could just be a case where you might need to rename certain devices. And that might be a good opportunity to think of getting a static IP address. IslandNet sells static IP addresses. So that could be something that you could think about, but it really just would be something that you would have to look into. It's not the surface level issue that a lot of people readily pick up. So that's one. It could also be that the firewall or the security software that you would use could be blocking your internet connection, and these things do happen. It happens. I mean, if you don't fix the settings on the firewall, it's gonna block the internet because it's seeing a bunch of files coming in and out, information being shared in and out, an influx of packets coming in through an internet protocol or set of rules that the internet uses to transmit information across a network. Yeah, it can block the internet connection. So if you don't adjust your firewall settings, it might be blocking the internet connection. These things do happen. Another thing as well, Wi-Fi interference, and these things happen like if you're using Wi-Fi boosters, mesh Wi-Fi, the nodes, for example, might be conflicting with each other, or you might have a bunch of access points in a particular area, and if the settings are not done correctly, one access point might be fighting against another access point, and internet's just not being shared in that area. So instead of realizing that they're all on the same team, they're fighting against each other. And because of that infighting, it's not sharing information to the other node or access point or other device or whatever it is that you have going on in your network. So again, the settings would need to be adjusted. So it could just be a case where you might need to adjust the Wi-Fi channel on your router, or just adjust whatever setting needs to be fixed on the respective access point node or whatever that you notice that the internet stops in. So if you have like a building and a whole floor is not getting internet, it could be a case where some of your access points are just fighting against each other. These things do happen. You might have outdated hardware. So for example, if your phone gets really old, it might be hard to pick up internet on the phone. These things do happen. Even with service, it can happen. And the same thing can happen with like your modem or router. If it's really, really old, because you have some people that have routers that are like 10 years old in their homes or in their businesses. It's not inconceivable. Because unless you have an issue, you would just the internet service provider would just add on the service remotely, but the device itself may be very old. So if that's the case, then you might want to think about just getting a new modem. IslandNet sells modems and routers as well, so you can check that out. It could also be a case where your network's overloaded. You probably just have too many devices connected in the network, and it can cause slow internet connection. So if you are not putting in a firewall in place to adequately manage the bandwidth going to the different devices, and getting the relevant amount of bandwidth needed to support all of the devices on your network, then the internet will slow. Everybody trying to suck up the little small internet that is there. It is what it is. Just imagine everybody going to all you can eat buffet, and instead of forming a line, everybody's just bomb rushing the table at one time. It's just gonna be chaos. Some people are going to get too much, some people are going to get very little, some people are going to get none, some people are going to get gas, some people are just going to get miserable, and it's just going to be a whole mess. So these things do happen with the internet connection too. So that's something. Viruses or malware. Yes, you do have viruses like Trojan horses, etc., that can actually attack your internet connection. These are things that people don't really talk about, but that's why an antivirus is actually more important than you think. Because if you're here complaining about the internet connection, sometimes a virus could be what's causing the issue with the internet connection. It happens. It does happen. So that's another thing. And there's also internet service provider trotting as well. So for example, let's say you don't have a burstable wireless internet connection, or you do have a burstable wireless internet connection, depending on your business, depending on the internet service provider. If you go beyond your data limit or your bandwidth limit or whatever it is for that specific period, you might be stuck at a certain amount of bandwidth and you can't get past it. So for example, let's say you're gone past the 50 megs that you'd have paid for your business for that month, but you're using like 70 megabytes of bandwidth, you might just be getting 50 or maybe 40 or less. You can't go past the 50. It buck at the 50. So that's something that you might notice as well. And there are several other reasons I can imagine. I can imagine that there's several other issues, but what are your concerns where the internet malfunctioning is an issue for your business? I would love to hear more. You can comment down below. But just to let you know though, if you have any issues where internet's concerned, IslandNet, we offer dedicated internet access, burstable wireless internet connection. We also do internet for events. We do fiber and wireless or fixed wireless connections. So, I mean, if you're dealing with network congestion in any way, shape, or form, you can always reach out to me and I'm happy to assist. I mean, even with the internet trotting, the intentional slowing or speeding up of an internet service by an internet service provider, that's something that you can actually get help with through a firewall and the relevant amount of bandwidth for your business. And again, IslandNet, because we do customized solutions for businesses or customers in general, we can definitely assist you in getting moving where that's concerned. I mean, we have been doing this for roughly 20 years with over 1,500 businesses island wide, and we do have our own cell towers and everything island wide. We are completely separate from Flow and Digital, so we can totally help you. Hope this helps. Have a wonderful day. Take care, and remember to never stop dreaming. Bye bye.